Get ready to hear uplifting and empowering topics, as well as soul-stirring Christian music to get you through your week.
It sounds like a transistor radio.
And Christine Show. And now, here are your hosts, Malachi and Christine.
Yes, we do. We got a lot going on, guys. What's up, guys? This is your host, Pastor Malachi, with my lovely wife. I don't like saying co-host, co-pastor. She's pastor, my pastor, our pastor. I'm her pastor. We're each other's pastor. Whatever. Good evening. Good to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in tonight. I hope that you guys are sharing this with your friends, sharing it with your loved ones, sharing with those that you don't get along with, because we know that it will bless their heart by you just sharing with them. Hi, Ty. How you doing? Good to see you. We got some great information for you. We're going to get right in this. We are continuing our series on becoming one. And tonight we're going to go right into, matter of fact, let's do this. My wife has some announcements. So I'm going to let her do the announcements, and then we'll come back and we'll get into what we're going to talk about tonight.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Alyssa. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, everyone, to the Malachi and Christine Show. This show airs every Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Hopefully, you'll have opportunity to share this beyond tonight's show when we conclude this session in 30 minutes. But we have a quick announcement. We're really excited. Our very good friends, Pastors Ray and Stephanie Velez, they recently started a broadcast, a live broadcast, an international broadcast with their ministry. They are the founders of Inspire International, and they have a broadcast called Inspire TV. And like I said, it airs nationwide. And they so graciously invited Pastor Malachi and I to be their guests on their next live broadcast, which is scheduled for next Tuesday, February the 6th. And since it's February, the month of love, we're going to get to talk about, thank you, I feel like I'm yelling.
You are yelling.
Well, because the music's, you know me.
They can't hear the music.
Well, I can hear the music.
She's just loud, y'all.
I'm like, feel like I'm yelling, talking above.
That's the way she normally
music.
talks. I'll be like, why are you yelling at me, babe?
Pray for my hearing. Anyways, Inspire TV. If you're able to come to the live show, definitely come on to the studio. If not, you can catch it live or you can catch the replay. Just visit them on inspireim.org or go to their Facebook page. Their Facebook page is Inspire International Ministries. And we're going to be talking about, as I was saying, it is the month of love for February. The subject topic for next Tuesday on Inspire TV is how to find your true love. How to find your true love. So if you're single and that's a desire of your heart, definitely tune in. We're excited to share what God's going to put on our heart and then answer the questions on that interview. So that's pretty much the only announcement I have.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. This is our opportunity to expand what we're doing into other areas of the ministry. And just the collaboration of our friends wanting to bring us onto the show is definitely a treat. We love them dearly. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Ray. We love you guys. We appreciate all that you guys are doing in this work of the ministry. And we're going to go right into what we've been talking about, and that's becoming one. What are some of the problems and some of the struggles that could come with becoming one? We talked about last week as far as personalities, certain different personality traits. I know that when I met Christine, even though I had business classes and business courses, seminars, and workshops, I heard more about different personalities from her than I ever have before. And I was like, type D, type C, type A. And I was like, I had no clue when she was talking about certain people's personalities, and she was talking about my personality and her personality, and she'll explain those personalities to you and what type of personality you are. So why don't you share a little bit about what type of personalities I am and what type of personality you are and how they work together.
Well, for those of you who may know a little bit about me, I have a decade of experience in the network marketing industry, and half of those years came from the Mary Kay career opportunity. I was an executive director, Cadillac director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and one of the hottest and most important training topics that we learned in that opportunity was the DISC personality types. And DISC personality types are actually used very commonly in corporate world. When I interviewed with the last company that I worked with, they had me take a personality test to determine what my highest personality level was. Many of us carry many of those personality traits, but there's usually one or two that are dominant. And when you are hiring different positions in corporate America, there are certain personality traits that you're looking for when you are hiring a position. And for me with sales, they wanted someone who was aggressive, someone who was motivated by money. And so that actually comes from a personality type. And when you're building relationships, it's kind of like the book, the 5 love languages. You want to learn the people that you're dating, your potential mate, looking to find true love. You want to learn what that person's love language is, but most importantly, you want to know what your love language is, because that's how you're going to share, that's how you're going to experience, give and take as far as love is concerned. Same thing that goes with relationships. When you're finding a person that is suitable for you, we talked about the perfect helpmate. We talked about the one that you find becoming one. You want to make sure that that person is a suitable helpmate for you. That's what God created in Adam and Eve. They were suitable helpmates for each other. So personality styles, have you ever heard opposites attract? Well, in personality styles, many times different personalities work really well together, more than the same 2 personalities. And so I am what we call a D personality. That's my highest personality trait. That means dominant. There's things that about me that I have in that D personality. You know, you're a go-getter. You make quick decisions. You are motivated by money when it comes to business. You're very direct. And so if he doesn't understand that about my personality, then he might think that I'm too aggressive, or he just doesn't understand a lot about who I am. And so Malachi is also a D personality, but he has a lot of other personality traits, and we haven't had him take the DISC personality test, but I do believe one of his highest personality traits is the I personality. That is the influential personality. Influential people are usually the life of the party. They are very outgoing, very charismatic. They are great storytellers. So that's some of his personality. They're very creative. And so if I don't understand that about Malachi, and actually he was in the entertainment industry and he used to act and model, part of his personality, if I don't know that about him, then I might try to put him in a box and want him to be something that he's not. And so when you're finding a power partner or a purpose partner, power partner too, when you're suitable helpmeet, you want to make sure that your personalities are complement to one another. You don't want to be like that ram in that bull going like this because you've got 2 dominant personalities like this. You want a well-rounded relationship. And so I suggest that you go online and Google the DISC personality types, take a test, find out what your personality is. It's going to help you in business, and it's definitely going to help you in relationships with your partner and with your kids, anybody.
Definitely. It's good to find out what type of personality that your mate or potential mate has, and what type of personality that you have yourself, whether you guys are going to get along or not get along. Because even though she is kind of dominant in some areas, with me, sometimes I have to tell her to bring it down a little bit because of that dominant side of her. It's not always a negative thing, but there are times that we pull from each other and we help each other to say, okay, bring that down a little bit, or you could have handled this a different way. Especially when she comes at me a certain time, I'm not really egotistical, but I can, as a man, be egotistical at times. And so that ego side of me says, you know what, you need to bring that down some. You know, how you make certain comments. They always say it's not what you say, but how you say it. And so with that, you know, with my type of personality and how I was raised in the home, and, you know, the loving side of me says, hey, babe, you need to bring that down a little bit, you know. Now, that can backfire if my D side would say, you know what, you shouldn't be talking to me that way. Don't be talking to me that way. And then we're always at odds now. And that's why a lot of people, they would have a lot of fights in their relationship, is because of their personalities don't meet and they clash. So you have to know what your mate's personality is and how you can relate to that personality. So we're not going to spend a lot of time
I think we should spend a little bit more time.
Okay, then
Yeah.
let's talk more about some personalities. That's that other D side coming in.
That's the detailed side coming in, and I think
Yes.
this is actually a really big deal when it comes to becoming one and making sure, like I said, that you find someone that can complement you, where your strengths and their weaknesses were. Let me say this again. Some of my strengths have been Malachi's weaknesses, such as me being a detail-oriented person, extremely detail-oriented person. Malachi is not that way. So that's my strength, that's his weakness. So we complement each other in that. Well, what else? What's some of my weaknesses are his strengths. One of them is consistency.
Yeah.
He also has what we call a conscientious personality. A conscientious personality could be very critical at times, and very consistent, very faithful, very dedicated, very loyal. They stick with things for the most part. So I have to know that about him. What if he says something that's critical just because that's part of his personality? It's actually a strength in that personality type. And then I take it personal because I don't understand why he's saying something to me, but that's kind of the way he is. It's constructive criticism. So what are some of your strengths that are my weaknesses? Consistency, I mentioned.
Yeah,
right?
consistency was a big part. It was like when I first moved into the house here, it was a big adjustment for me because I was used to being by myself and having things done a certain way, and one was as far as cleaning up after myself. And so that was something that I was really consistent on, is cleaning up after myself. If I use something, I put it away, or if I use a cup or whatever, I clean it and put it away. So that way I don't have a lot of stuff in the kitchen later on, because my dad taught us that. Now, Dad always said, don't go to bed with a dirty kitchen. Don't go to bed with dirty dishes in the sink. And I'm like, why? And now I'm older, I realize why, because, nobody wants to wake up to a house that's nasty and you can't cook breakfast because now you got to cook. You have to wash dishes from the last night. But that was one thing that I had to, I guess, I don't want to say train. That's kind of like a bad word to use, but
well, okay, let's clarify this a little bit. He basically, the way that I am is I was a single mom, and I have teenagers in the home, and so the way that I would do it is we would live during the week, and then on the weekends was when we cleaned up. Now, our house wouldn't get to the point where it's raggedy. Malachi knows that I am a clean person and I'm not nasty whatsoever. However, there are times where I come home, I'm tired, I go straight to my room, I don't look at anything else in the house, and I go straight to my room, and that's my where I find my peace. And versus him, he'll notice every nook and cranny. Everything he notices.
I miss nothing. And my kids will tell you, I don't miss a thing.
So he had to bring in consistency, and he would leave little sticky notes, put away your dishes and blah, 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 and really good things. And so the kids would see that, and he would text me because he didn't want to come in as a dictator.
Right.
He wanted to make sure that there was a process, and we would all get used to one another, and that's where communication comes in. And so he would say, hey, the girl's this, or your son that, or whatever the case is, and then we would make those corrections so that we would all kind of learn how to flow together. And we're still doing that, but he brought in consistency where I would just let things go, not really pay attention to it. I work all day, I come home, I'm tired, I go to my room, and I deal with it on the weekend. But Pastor Malachi is not that way. He's OCD. Yes, DJ Kev. But it's great, and it works for us, and I'm so grateful and thankful because I was praying for that. I wanted that in my life. I would get so stressed out sometimes and scream at the top of my lungs because the house would get to where it was because I was just tired.
So it brought a level of order and discipline. Not saying that there was any discipline, but it was like the dolphins. You know, it was like me, a shark, coming into a tank full of dolphins. You know, everybody was like, it was like, you know, Winnie the Pooh and Tigger. And it was like, wow. I was like, so my side of personality was structure and order and certain things. So I had to really put myself in check because I didn't want to come, like she said, I didn't want to come in being a dictator. So I allowed her to handle certain things because, you know, new man in the house, and the kids are not infants and they're not adolescents. They're, you know, teenagers and grown, half grown, want to be grown and all that. So, you know, they were already accustomed of living a certain way, doing things a certain way, you know, which was very carefree. And there's nothing wrong with carefree to a point. Okay, you have to have some type of structure within your life and not be so carefree because now everybody will say, wow, you guys get away with this, you guys get away with that. So, you know, I brought in some order, I brought in some discipline, but not a stern discipline where, you know, they didn't like me coming around. They didn't want to see me coming because I'm such a lovable guy. You know, and here's another thing, just as a side note, because my family is so loving and so, you know, touch hands-on. When I first met her daughters, you know, I was like, hey, how you doing? Like my own kids, I would hug them and they were like, what's this guy? But now, as time has gone on, now when they come in, the first thing they do, at least the small one still does. I don't want to say small because she's tall as I am, but the youngest one, she finds me and she hugs me. Hi, Malachi, you know, which makes me feel good, you know, and it's just a level of respect. And for those that are in the house, because as I was growing up, you did not leave the house without telling someone. You didn't come in the house without saying something to someone. You know, I didn't go to bed without saying goodnight or to my parents, or it was like World War II, III, IV, and V. So that was something that I brought into the house. So there's a lot of good things I brought without being the dictator and that type of personality of love, respect and honor, because that goes a long way with the society that we're living in, because a lot of young people, they don't have respect and honor for older people. So
I really hope you all are paying attention and listening to what we're saying, especially if you're out there and you're single or you're newly married and in your first year of marriage. We were watching a television show last night and they made a comment about the first year of marriage is the hardest year of marriage. And I looked at Malachi, I said, it is? Really? Although we've had a little bit, you know, our once a month hormonal challenges, mostly me, this side of marriage, our first few months to me have been awesome, have been wonderful. So to imagine the first year of marriage being the most challenging, but he said it's because you're two individuals coming together as one, trying to get to know each other, compromising, making adjustments to your lifestyle from being, you know, independent now to living together cohesively. And then if it's a blended family, because there's now children involved, then that's a whole different dynamic. But it's important, and I want to tell all the single ladies especially, if you are single, when I was in my single season, I acted as if. I used to think in my mind when I was in my bathroom getting ready, okay, if I was married, would it be a good idea to leave all of my makeup laid out on the countertop? What about all my hair products and things like that? And so I wanted to make sure if I was married, I want to be respectful of my husband and clean up behind myself. Put my makeup in a drawer. Put my hair curlers underneath the sink. I even hired a housekeeper to help me because I'm busy. I'm a busy mom. I have many things going on. I can't make excuses. And I asked Malachi when he moved in, I said, you know, are you okay? Do you like us having a housekeeper? And he likes it, even though he does a lot. I'm such a clean, I'm not a clean freak per se, DJ Kev,
but I like clean. It was like, I want to comment what he had said, that when DJ Kev was on deployment, his wife was in charge. So he had to come back home and regain his status as man of the house, because while he was gone, mama was in charge. And, you know, I know there was no funny business when he was gone, but he had to come back and regain that status as daddy in the house. But now when you have a blended family, now you have another male or even a female mom, if she has kids or if he has kids. So now you have another parent in the house that's not trying to take the place of the permanent parent or the current parent.
Biological.
Their biological parent, but coming in reinforcing what their wishes are and what their guidelines are, and helping with that. So my thing was a help. And I wanted to say that, you know, she talked about the house cleaner. She the only one I know that clean up before the housekeeper comes. I'm like, even the kids be like, Mom, why you cleaning up? The housekeeper's coming tomorrow. They're like,
so she can clean better.
And so she's cleaning stuff before the house cleaner comes. I'm like,
I'm not the only one that does that.
I'm like, whoa. But you want to be in a position to get to know your mate in that first year that you're married, because like I said, when I was single, I didn't have panties on the shower rack.
Panties?
Well,
I hope not. Draws.
Or stockings or whatever, you know, women's clothes hanging all over the place. I didn't have all that. But now, you know, coming into a house with a whole bunch of women, you know, you might see some things. So you have to be content in your own self. You have to be comfortable in your own skin. I'm very comfortable in my skin. Now, there's some things that will bother me. There's some things that will irritate me, but I talk about it. I share those things. I don't address those in a way that everybody's uneasy around me, because I don't want that type of atmosphere in the house. You know, I want everybody to know that I'm on the same team. You know, I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad, but I'm your pops. Yeah, I put it like that. I'll be your pops, you know, to help and to bring some type of good, positive structure. Just like if they were my own kids, you know, I want to treat them just like my own, but there's always a balance there, because I would be harder on my kids because they're mine biologically. And so I'm not taking their parents' place, but I'm helping reinforcing what's already been established as parental studies or parental duties.
Listen, you're listening to the Malachi and Christine Show. Our subject topic, January and February, is about love and relationships. We're still on the topic of becoming one, because there's so much to discuss about the subject topic when it comes to marriage, relationships, communication, finances, sex, children. There's so many things to talk about. So we want to take our time with this. We want to help you. We want to help singles. We want to help couples. It's not too late to find your purpose suitable helpmeet, or to be with the one that is. Maybe you've been together for a while and you haven't quite made that synergy happen just yet. That spiritual oneness, emotional oneness, physical oneness, and we want to help you accomplish that, because we're doing that and dealing with that every single day of our married life. And one thing I want to, once again, I'm always going to make reference to singles, is when Pastor Malik and I were engaged, he made an initiative to actually, we got permission from my ex-husband, who are my youngest,
right,
who reside in the house with us, to have a one-on-one with him. And so he reached out, he gave us permission. I gave him my ex-husband's phone number. Pastor Malachi reached out to my ex-husband. They met at Starbucks for a couple hours.
Had a good time. Chopped it up. We just chopped it up. We had good time.
And it gave my ex-husband, because, you know, children...
He was relaxed.
Yes, because he was concerned. You know, who's this man that you're about to marry? He didn't know anything, never met Pastor Malachi, didn't know anything about him other than what my two daughters might go and say about him. And so he was concerned. Who is this man? How do I know he's gonna not come in and try to dictate or
take advantage of his daughters.
Take advantage of our daughters. And so it was wonderful that Pastor Malachi knows who he is as a man, and went there and eased the mind, and they realized that he was just here to help support what's already been there, the foundation, to help whatever we were instilling, the values that we were already instilling as parents. We're no longer together, we're separated, so we're in single parent households. He learned what those values are and told my ex, the father of our daughters, that he was just here to help reinforce what's already being taught, the values that are already being taught. And so if you are a man out there and you're engaged to a lady and there is an ex involved and they're co-parenting,
got to reach out.
If there's any way, if there's any civilness in that relationship, I highly encourage you to see if there's a way that you could communicate with that person and be on the same page, for multiple reasons, but especially so that the kids don't try to play all the parents against each other.
Right, because they'll try. They'll definitely try, because even with my own biological kids, when their mother and I divorced, there was a time that, they would play us against each other, and I would tell them, I says, you know what did your mother say? And she would say the same thing. Well, what did your daddy say? I'm going to ask them. And then the story would change, because they don't think that you're going to ask the other parent if they could go somewhere or if they can do something. Always double check. But as she was saying, men especially, get rid of that ego. Get rid of that stubbornness of, I don't want to talk to that so-and-so, Hey, you might be in that same position. Okay, and another guy comes in with your kids, and what are you going to do then? So make the initiative to reach out to the other guy to say, hey, you know what? I'm so-and-so's dad. I just wanted to meet you, let you meet me, so you find out who I am, what I'm all about. Of course, I found out I was a little more churchy than her other relations.
That was unnecessary.
So he was real happy about that, because here's his brother that's now churchy in the house, that is bringing more biblical structure, Christian structure, and values into the house, instead of some old buster coming in, popping the bottle, kicking back, watching sports all day, and don't care about nobody but himself. I wasn't like that. I wasn't raised like that. So regardless to her past and regardless to my past, we're both on the right track now, trying to help us help each other to help others.
That's right. So communication is key in your relationship with each other, as well as external factors, because there are external factors that can cause stress in marriages and in relationships. And so you have to come together in unity, in oneness, in agreement, in communication, so that you too can not allow all the external things that could potentially come up against you. It could be exes, it could be your children inside or outside of the house, it could be your job, it could be a friend, it could be a mother-in-law, a father-in-law. I mean, there's so many outside influences that can infiltrate your marriage and cause conflict with you two. And so you have to be together, you have to be one, you have to be in agreement, you have to communicate with one another, compromise where there needs to be compromise, sacrifice where there needs to be sacrifice, so that your union and everyone around you knows those two, they stick together. Don't even try to come in between them and cause a wedge, because it's not going to happen. Definitely. So we're running out of time at 7:32.
Oh, how time flies, y'all. We've been having fun with this, and we're going to continue this into next week. We have a special guest. I'm still trying to tie him down. I reached out to him today, and I know his schedule is kind of busy. He's a professional family therapist. He's a Christian. He's a pastor. Him and his wife are doing wonderful things in the community as far as families are concerned, and we want to invite him to our show next week if he can make it and put it on his agenda. We already know that his schedule is real tight anyway, but if you see him, he'll be here. If you don't, we'll continue on what we're doing. But he wanted to come on to the show and just share some things that God had placed in his heart about us and our marriage and our wedding day, because he performed our marriage, and he actually sat with us in a couple of sessions, counseling sessions, and it was very, very good. And I was very pleased and honored that he has taken to me the way he has. And so I'm thrilled to see what God is going to do in the coming months and coming years with our ministry collaborating. So we're going to end tonight with what we normally end with. We appreciate you guys coming in, sharing with your friends, sharing with your loved ones. Tag some folk.
That's
let
my
them know,
brother.
hey, Ryan, how you doing, man?
All the
Good
way
to
in
see
Guam.
you.
Hi, bro.
Guam is in the house. Hey, tell Pops over there I said hello, man. I'm taking good care of her daughter.
Papa John.
Yeah. We thank everybody for coming in.
Thank you.
And just interacting with us, because we like that. We like when you guys come in and interact with us. DJ Kev, he's been cutting up. No, I know you don't see him on one camera, but on the other camera, he's been cutting up. And we appreciate that. So, as we always say, you guys love each other, love yourself, love God, and by all means, love others, because this is the way that you guys are going to be able to live a life that's pleasing to the Lord, because we definitely want you to live,
hope, and change.
This has been your boy, as I say, Pastor Malachi.
And Pastor Christine at the Malachi and Christine Show. We'll see you next Thursday, 7 p.m. live Pacific Standard Time, right here on Facebook.
All right.
We love you guys. Thank you. Have a good night.
Night, guys.